One bad apple spoils the bunch, and these kids will rotten to the core. And the dad was like, my son ain't no bad apple.
Like,
yeah, he was.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sips and Scripts, the podcast where we make a cocktail and talk about one of our favorite films from the past and present. I'm Kirsten Jackson, and I'm a blogger and cocktail influencer at lowcountrysocialite.com.
Hi, I'm Kayla Rose, and I'm an entertainment blogger at inmytheater.com.
I'm Terrell Bernard, film enthusiast.
Welcome to the show.
One time, and we back.
And we back again.
Welcome in.
Yeah.
All right, how y'all doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this episode. This is a good pick, Terrell.
Yes, thank you. And that pick for today is going to be Lean On Me.
Lean on me.
When you're not
lean on
strong,
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
Man, that
I'll
scene
help
with them
you
singing that
carry
song, them kids was going
Yeah, they
ham.
was.
And I don't
Yeah, they
even say
was.
going
It
ham, but it was appropriate.
Yeah, those children were singing,
Yes,
okay?
they were.
They was singing they backs
This
out.
was a musical, as far as I'm concerned. A comedic musical.
Yeah,
Comedic
I was
musical.
like, it was a little bit, but Mrs. What was her name? Dodds? No, whatever the black lady up there shaking
Assistant
her
principal?
wig.
Talking about the music.
The music assistant.
teacher. Yeah.
Oh, her up there shaking her wig up there. You can lean on me. Oh,
Okay, I'm trying to tell you, that lady right there, she played her part, okay?
That wig almost ended up in the stands, but you know, I ain't mad at it.
Man.
Like
That
she
on them
would've
little
been
short heel church shoes and that little wig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was letting you know, hey, I ain't here for play.
You can lean. I said,
She
sure can,
seems
girl.
like she would have been such a lovely person to know.
She did seem real sweet. And I feel like I know a lot of women like that. That
Yeah.
she had that good old church vibe, but we getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are. We
We truly are. About to just jump right up into it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're gonna hand it back to Terrell because we took the floor of the church. And,
all right. Amen. So what's everybody up to this week? Everybody?
You know, I don't necessarily have anything that's too on my plate besides just still trying to organize and get myself together for this year. I know that sounds so crazy, but we are in February and your girl still ain't got it together. But we're just edging towards that goal of being more organized and productive in 2022.
What you got going on, Kirsten?
well, tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And today is Galentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is the day before Valentine's Day, and you celebrate your gal pals.
That's so lame. Where'd you get that foolishness from?
It is actually a very celebrated thing in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Americans ain't got nothing else to do other than
that's
make up
funny.
stuff.
Oh, I was going to get a deep dive into the history of the consumerism circled around Valentine's Day.
Lord.
Hit it, Terrell. Second verse, same as the first. Go ahead.
Valentine's Day was put here by the man
Oh,
to
God.
make you spend more money. You
Good.
understand me? When you
Good.
put into the economy,
Oh, God.
the man is happy. When
Oh,
you
God.
save your coins.
You know what?
Okay.
You in the Jesse Jackson rhyme scheme. Y'all can have that.
That's funny.
Which actually, matter of fact, keep it up because Joe Clark, he was definitely
Yeah.
a
Joe Clark
wordsmith.
was the man.
But-
But like also
Yeah.
What?
he was a meanie. He was a bully. And that lady who stood up to him, Miss Tavares,
Tavares. I think it was Tavares.
that was a bad bitch, okay? That was a bad bitch.
Which one was that one?
The
The
principal.
assistant
The
principal. Yeah.
Oh.
Levias.
Elias. Yeah, there we go.
I'm over here giving her a whole new name.
Yeah, I didn't even know who the hell you was talking about. But
We're so excited
But-
about this that we keep jumping right into this.
Okay, exactly. Y'all gonna let me tell y'all what I'm working on.
Oh yeah, what you working on?
So anyway, it's Galentine's Day today.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. foolishness.
And yesterday I had a little Galentine soiree. It was just
me and 2 other people because I don't have any friends.
That's what you call a soiree?
Yeah. The real festive shindig.
I would call that a get together. Like, we got together.
Yeah, well, hey, I do what I can. But yeah, we did some shark coochie boards. And
What?
What?
Shark boards. Shark coochies.
I don't want no parts of that.
They are tasty shark coochie.
Yeah.
Y'all eating the shark coochies?
It was charcuterie boards. Right? Now, you never heard of charcuterie boards, right?
Yes. Okay.
That's the official.
When you say it like that, I'm like, what is going on?
That is the official mispronunciation of the word charcuterie. It's shark coochie.
Oh, yeah, don't do that no more.
Yes, I'm very sad. So yeah, that's what I had been working on, and just Valentine's Day is tomorrow. And a week of work ahead, and that's pretty much all on my plate.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not very busy, but I did get to have some fun with some friends. Went out to a Travis Park yesterday, and we did a CSI investigation. You do it on your phone. It was interesting.
How was that? Okay.
It was something I've never done before. And it was cold, so I was like, and it was windy. So I was like, this is fun, but
never be no cop, because if the conditions ain't just right, fuck it, everybody going to jail.
First of all, if the conditions ain't right, if you run, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, freeze. Oh yeah, I'll get you next time.
Right, because I'm not finna do it. They gonna know me as the cop who just don't.
I know my strengths and my weaknesses, man. And that's,
put me on the desk.
Let crime run wild, run rampant. If y'all was a doggone Clark,
run.
Y'all would have just let the drug pushers in the school. Like, just let them.
Okay, wait, now
wait.
Well, but get those chains on the doors.
Go 10, go 10.
Right.
Into this movie because we are so excited.
Okay,
but first I'm gonna to throw out this cocktail. Okay, so y'all follow me. So we get this scene where they're like, remember it's in the middle where he's like, they used to call me Crazy Joe, and now they can call me
Batman. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I figure, what better cocktail than one that is made with a cup of Joe? So I have some coffee flavored vodka liqueur. It's from Jumping Goat. They sent me a bottle a couple months ago, and I tasted it, but I hadn't really made a cocktail or anything with it. But I was like, this would be perfect. It's coffee flavored. So I made a Black Russian, which obviously would have nothing to do with this movie, but it is coffee flavored. So here we go. So it's not a steaming cup of Joe, but just a Joe flavored cocktail. So in a short rocks glass, fill it with ice and pour over 45 milliliters of Jumping Goat Vodka Liqueur. Top it with Coke and garnish it with a lime wheel. Super simple, 2 ingredients: Coke and coffee flavored liqueur. So now that we've gotten that out of the way,
let's talk about this movie.
Hey, so why did you choose this film?
I chose this film because it's February. It's Black excellence, and I enjoy this movie. This is one of my favorite movies. Growing up, I didn't understand it, but as I watched it more and more as I grew older, I was like, wow, this is really powerful. I really love this movie. Absolutely.
I would say that I've seen this movie a million times, and so I know all of the scenes and the elements and stuff in it. But I think this was the first time I've seen it maybe in the last 5 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it was good to rewatch it and kind of view it critically, like we kind of do on this podcast. So yeah, it was some scenes were really, really powerful, and some scenes I understood a little better now that I'm older. So yeah,
y'all know I'm really not one for all the older movies. I'm very much into my populars.
I have seen this movie several times and I love it because one thing I really, really love, I love education when it comes to teaching these babies how to be functional and go into the world and be outstanding people. I am here for it. So movies like Lean on Me and The Freedom Writers always tug at my heart. And I'm like, I love the unconventional ways that we get our shit together, okay? And that is exactly what Mr. Clock did for Fair East Side.
Yes, yes.
And y'all know it's based on a true story.
Yes. Joe Clark was a real man. Matter of fact,
now they call me Batman. That Morgan Freeman. Golly.
Yeah, Morgan. Nobody else could have played this part other than Morgan Freeman.
Bruh, absolutely.
Not a single person on this side of the earth could have played a better Joe Clark than Morgan Freeman, always looking old Morgan Freeman. I would like to put out there, every movie I've ever seen Morgan Freeman in, I don't care what age, that nigga has always looked old. And like, was he ever a young person?
I've never
like
seen
up
it.
into and that's how good
I have, and it looked old.
Today, he still looked like Joe Clark. So I don't know what miracle creams he is putting on, but that nigga has always looked old. But we love him. So this is not like a dig. We love Morgan Freeman. There is no one who could do Morgan Freeman better than Morgan Freeman can do Morgan Freeman.
Who would show up and be like, "Hello, Morgan Freeman, I can do you better than you do you."
No one, and they couldn't.
As a matter of fact, I would like for somebody to come in here and say, "Hey, Kirsten, I could do you better than you could do you," and I would let them have it. I mean, all right, then, well,
okay.
You gonna do all this work too?
Yeah, you got it.
You got it.
Well, Terrell, you want to walk us through this film? You want to get us started?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Before we hit all the high points and then you say, "Well, see you next week, folks."
But when I watched this film, I was like, wow, from where East Side High started, I believe it was 1967, to just 20 years later, what the school evolved into, I was like, wow, just how they cut funding. You know, that's what they did. Once the white people moved out and Black and Latino children moved in, they cut the funding. They didn't have what they needed. The school teachers were not up to par for the most part, and the kids were falling so far behind that the state was going to take over the school because the test scores were just that low. I was like, this is sad, because it still goes on today.
Yeah, the white flight was extremely evident. And what town was this in, or city?
New Jersey.
It's New Jersey. Okay.
Haddonton, New Jersey, something like that. Oh, Patterson, New Jersey.
It's okay. So it's New Jersey, in the city, New Jersey. Yeah. When they did it was interesting to watch it being like paying more attention and being a little more critical. Because I don't remember the beginning of the film. I always remember the rough parts and the transition and stuff. But I forgot he was, a young teacher in his dashiki teaching the white kids.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
About that part, because that's not the thing that sticks out in your memory. So, yeah. And then when they did the little what do you call it, like video over video frame where it transitioned into this nightmare ghost.
And that's exactly what it looked like.
I was like, shit.
I love the beginning of the movie because it kind of shows you the setup. Like, he worked at East Side before East Side turned into like this hooligan school, and he was fighting for the rights of all teachers. If you listen to him when they go to that union meeting that they tried to snub him on, he was like, if you guys roll over, this school is gonna go to shit. And it did exactly that. And they have to go back and find that man and help and make. It's always a Black hero, guys. always a black hero. Listen to black people. He went to go work at this white school and was like, yeah, y'all shit gonna go down the drain and I ain't gonna have no parts of it. And they had to call that man back and be like, we need help. And they knew he was the only one who could do it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because they were going to lose that school. That school was so far gone.
We got to see that he has always been like a spitfire, a firecracker. And I was wondering how he got to that elementary school.
I mean, he's a professional.
I understand that, but I just hate to see
they bought him out, basically.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like I hate to see where like talents are wasted, and I hate to say that because I mean it's not a waste to be a principal of an elementary school, but he had such strong leadership, and it was like we cannot control this nigga, so throw him somewhere or just let him go somewhere where he can just, I don't know, quietly disappear. Like when they had the discussion where he jumped on the table, it was like those teachers that were part of the union, they only cared about the raises that they were going to get. Because he was like, they'll meet our salary demands if we transfer you. And it was like, did they not make any other demands for this school? Because it just went crashing down. After they got those pennies, it was like, well, the school just got worse.
Yeah, like, well, we need more books. Well, y'all got a raise, so no new books for you.
You better buy some with your raise.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, y'all, I used to be scared of this movie.
I did. I was going to say the same thing because we
That's
were
so funny.
the same age, and that scene where they're in that school and they're just terrorizing everything. Because I hadn't gone to high school yet; I was still elementary school when this movie came out, and I'm like, "Is this what high school is like?" Oh my goodness, it's crazy!
I'm skipping high school altogether. Man, that shit, man. Listen, that first, and as a matter of fact, every time I watched it after that, I always fast forward, and that's probably why I don't remember Joe Clark and his dashiki, because I'll fast forward past that part of that just complete chaos. And I was like, I know, well, I've heard the inner city schools are bad. I mean, we country kids. I mean, so I don't know about that shit, but I have heard. But I was like, is it that bad, or is this just like movie magic? Because it was like chaos everywhere, and like I was like, damn, what's going on here?
I'm gonna hope that this was definitely movie magic chaos, because baby, the way I would be like, y'all got it. I don't need no education.
They was kicking the teachers' asses. And it was like
the girls in the bathroom, like tearing off that girl's clothes. Everyone else is like fighting, like and then there are just people smoking all throughout the school. Just like there was just so much disorganized chaos that I was just like, there's no way I would show up here voluntarily, number one, as a teacher, number two, as a student.
Bruh.
Like,
and they had him when he did show up. You notice it was when them corridors were empty. So he walked in like and looked around. But if he would have showed up that day, oh shit. He would have still been a hero in my book if he turned around on his right. and walked out of there.
I'm see y'all later.
That scene where they started kicking the teacher's ass, and then they started. I was
banging his head. I was like
banging his head on the floor. I was like, oh no, that movie used to scare the shit out of me. But that part definitely, but all the other stuff too. But yeah, that shit was like a complete fucking jungle.
Yeah, it was. Drug dealers was coming in. They buying guns, drugs. It was like, y'all can't wait till after school?
Y'all, like, damn. Let me tell you what. Like, y'all got 9 to 5 hours like an office. Like, y'all can't do this after school.
Let me tell y'all what blew my mind. And I know that this was like years early, but Sam smoking crack, to me,
9th grader smoking crack.
That is a baby. He is.
Yeah, inner cities crack hit hard in the inner cities. And now we look at crack and like crack is a joke drug. Like we smoke crack, like
But then it was like a popular street drug.
Ooh, man.
But no, I mean, what I mean by joke drug is like, people are like, oh, you being a crackhead. Oh, are you on crack? Like,
oh yeah, like that.
It's a joke drug like that. Not that it's not a serious drug, but it's just like,
haha, the crack is funny. Like, no.
Yeah. And crack is whack, like stuff like that. But because now we know how strung out you can get on crack. But then it just hit the streets and everybody, and it was this cheap form of cocaine. And so everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people were using it. Even kids. Like now, it's rare you see a young person on crack. It happens.
Right.
But it's very rare.
Yeah, like that really blew my mind. Like out of all the stuff that was happening in this thing, because like fights happen at school all the time, drug dealers happen at schools all the time, but like actually smoking crack was like wild to me.
Yeah, because he was loading up on the crack. Sam's was like, had a handful of crack. I was like, what is going on?
And Sam's was not skinny, so he must have just started his crack diet.
And unfortunately, Sam's in real life also, struggling with drug addictions. Aww. If we call weed drug addiction. So yeah, it was really sad to hear that he got arrested for trying to, like, I guess, relive his character with a whole handful of weed. And I was like, oh no.
Hey,
oh no.
But yeah.
200 pounds though.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. That is definitely intent to distribute. Wouldn't 200?
Yeah.
It was something.
Yeah, you can't be like, this is for my own personal recreational use. You can be like, 200 pounds, bro? You know how much weed you have to get 200 pounds of weed?
Right. Well, how old was he in this movie?
That's a problem. How old was he in this movie? Be like, I don't know, but he had to be like 14. Had to. He's 48 now.
Yeah, I always think it's kind of sad, like the way Hollywood like churns out child stars, and then when they're done, they're done. And a lot of them turn to drugs. I mean, because what else?
A lot of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, not interesting, but it's discouraging to watch someone be used for their talent, and then when that talent or when that use is done, it's like, well, good luck
to you. Yeah, pretty much. Chucking the deuces.
I feel like all child actresses should have some type of counseling. That's just me.
Parents get involved, the money gets involved, and depending on how well you do, you either end up like Keke Palmer, or you end up like Macaulay Culkin or Gary Coleman, where they steal all of your money and you're left penniless, and you do what you have to do to survive. I think they need to have like parents being managers. I think you should have an independent manager, someone that can manage your money, put it in a trust, put it up for you, so when you get of age, you will have something and be left with nothing.
I think that there are some rules now, because I got a friend who works with child actors, and I think she explained to me something about like a certain portion has to be saved for them. It's like a certain percentage. I mean, and the rest the parents can manage. But I don't know all the rules, so I don't want to speak on that. But it's something. But back to this movie though, when I saw that stuff, I was like, ain't no way they can call one man up in here to fix this. I felt like the only fix would be to burn the school down with everybody in it.
With everybody
in it. Everybody in it.
Yeah. That's just one solution, of course.
But the way that he did it was actually like perfect. I don't know how he came up with this idea or anything, but the way that he was like, y'all see these niggas on the stage? Y'all got to get the hell up out this food.
Ain't no way in hell he could do that now. But
no, not at all. No. But I mean, but they were being expelled. You could expel kids. I mean, I don't know if you could expel 300 kids at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he did. He took out the trash, but
he did.
I was like,
do you think him putting those kids back in the street led to more bad things happening in New Jersey? Because you hear a lot of things about cities up north and crime being high, do you think that contributed to more criminal activity because the kids weren't at school during the day? They were just out expelled doing whatever.
Yeah, those are some of the thoughts that I had like on rewatching this. Like as a kid, I was like, "Oh yeah, you got rid of those bad kids, bye." But
Yeah.
but now I'm like, he literally chose which lives were more important, and even though he was accurate, but it's like, who decides like which lives you're going to save? And even though removing those kids made his job a little easier, if you could say that, because all that shit looked hard, but he did just kind of like throw them on the street. But my thing was that if they really wanted to come back, they could have, or at least tried. Like the only one that we saw try to come back was Sam, and we saw that even though Joe Clark was harsh, he was very strict. That's a tough one. And yeah, he threw them right into the pipeline for prison, but I mean, but he sacrificed, 300 to save 2,700.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a hard one for me because I'm like, he didn't just pick these people out of nowhere. He was like, these people have been here for 5 or more years. They're just selling drugs. They're fighting. Yeah. These are the kids that are incorrigible. First of all, I loved his use of like words. They were amazing.
Yeah, he was real.
They were incorrigible.
T.I. before T.I.
Yeah, he needed them to know what was the word he used for them? They were
I don't remember.
It was some huge word, and they were like, and I was like, well, where'd they do that?
Like, if y'all know that, y'all should be doing good on these tests.
Right. That's funny. But like, my thing is,
look up their word. Y'all go ahead. I got to look their word up because this is gonna bother me.
That was the only way. And like Kirsten said, if these kids were really about their futures and things of that nature, they all would have kind of it went back to him and said, hey, like, I understand what's going on. Like, I understand why you threw me out. I would love another chance. But I'm assuming also that like they didn't have alternative schools back then. So there really was nowhere else for them to go. And unfortunately, that means that you are now on your own to make decisions for yourself. So if you go out in this world and you decide to be a criminal, that's what you decided to do, because we tried to give you the best education and the best help we could. But now, in order for me to save the majority, I got to sacrifice. And so those parents coming up into that meeting all hot and mad and things like that should have looked at themselves and been like, you know what? I know my child was wrong, and I am upset that he got kicked out of school. So I need to go home and work on him and getting him back in school and getting him or her back to being a person who is of value, because right now they're being delinquent. So did it increase crime? Probably, but wouldn't there have been more crime had the school kept going the way it was going? I feel like you would have turned out a whole lot more than those 300 kids, 299 because Sam's came back, versus the 2,700 never getting to where they could go. Like,
yeah,
I think that would have created so much more crime. So I think, hey, sometimes you just gotta sacrifice.
And I noticed, because I used to work with young children in jail, kids that were there for the first time, they gravitated toward the kids who would come there a lot. And they would start to mimic them, and they would start to get pulled down into the things that they were doing. And I was like, yeah, you don't need to hang out with this guy. This guy is, when he turns 17, they coming to pick him up. He's going to Georgia State Prison. You're gonna be here for 30 days, and you about to go back home to your parents. Make wise decisions, because you could end up going to the same place he's going if you don't watch what you're doing.
Right.
But it's like those kids, some kids are just easily influenced, and once they get on that track, it's hard to get them off. So kicking all those kids out, I think, really helped those other kids who could have been going down that track, because Sam's was a 9th grader. He had just got to the school. So him already being so terribly influenced by those older kids or the kids that was doing crack or the kids that was doing other things, it was easier for him to get into it because he was like, oh, this is what everybody's doing. Oh, this is what school is all about. But then when he realized, oh no, I believe I made a mistake. When he was getting swept off the stage like Sandman. Then
that's funny. Y'all, can we talk about the security guy? Can we talk about Mr. Todd? William Wright? Oh Lord. That was his name in the movie, William Wright. He was the security guy.
The Candy Man.
Mr. Tony Todd.
So that was Candyman. I was thinking
it was Candyman. And you know, he don't look good in Candyman, but he looked good in Lean on Me.
Okay.
You like a man in uniform.
Hey,
security badge. Just do something.
And he was like, we already threw this riff-raffed out once before. And I was like, throw me out, sir. Okay, anyways. So
Kayla, you are on your own with that. That man name. Nobody know that man name. His name was
she was like,
right in the movie.
The head of security.
Okay.
And that school needed so many things.
So many.
It did. I feel like it was very smart for him to come in and start like assigning roles to people because I think one of the great things about like this movie overall, it took him a little time to hit every department, like the kids and the teachers and the parents, but he gave all of them such agency over their lives. Like, and the kids, you could tell that they just needed a leader, some guidance, somebody to believe in them and make them believe in themselves. Like, and it was just beautiful to watch. And then with the teachers were there just working, and to be fair, hell, they were just surviving. And I get it, because that shit looked rough. But even though he was hard and he was a bully at times, absolutely, but he forced those teachers to start taking a personal stake in those kids' lives. And it like I said, he was a bully, and it made it to where it was like, okay, you're going to do this or you're going to be out of a job. And so when you start threatening somebody's personal livelihood, 9 times out of 10, they're going to snap into action. And they did. He mistreated them.
I think he had to get his point across because he was like, I didn't bring myself here. There's a reason I'm here. If you look at what's going on here, you all are so far below on the basics of learning that these kids would graduate and not know anything. They would be hireable. They
would be set up for failure. Absolutely.
Exactly. So he had to be that bully.
I don't think that I could have survived Joe Clark because maybe that's just because I'm, who I am. You ain't finna talk to me crazy one too many times, but I can, on the outside looking in, I can 100% see why he took the approach he did. Like, people been talking to y'all nice and just being like, well, they so incorrigible, just show up and try your best. It doesn't matter what you do, they're not gonna be good for anything anyways, So the teachers, like Kirsten said, they were just like, okay, I'm just here to survive, whatever. So it took a little bit of like, hey, no, this is actually on you guys. Like, I understand that these kids are awful, but like, if you're not putting in the good faith effort to get these kids a little something, then you should not be here. Go ahead and exit stage left. So I can understand from the outside looking in why he had to be like, but there were, like you said, there were some times where it was like, now, sir, that was unnecessary. Like that whole scene in the cafeteria where he was making them sing the alma mater, and the football coach and / English teacher picked up that piece of paper and he was like, I said no one move, and during my da 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 da, and I'm just like, okay, see, no, that would have been it for me. Like him flipping over that table would not have been the only thing I did because I'm coming for the juggler. Because number one, you embarrassed me in front of a whole slew of children who already don't respect us. Like, no.
I felt like that scene was placed in there just so we can see him go too far and then have to reel it back in. So to show that some humility with him as he came in there to be, you know, Billy Badass, but he had to connect with everyone else there because, you know, what was it? Benson, his Benson.
Robert Guillaume, is that how you pronounce his last name?
I never knew, but yeah, his character was
Robert
like
Guillaume.
Yeah. It's like, you're gonna write a formal apology, and you know, he did, and it created a stronger relationship, even though it sucks that he had to get suspended or whatever. But during, like, as the film progressed, you could see, you know, we understand each other now. We have understanding.
Oh, I loved. Okay, so he was real abrasive to my girl, Miss Levias, and I loved the scene. She stood up for herself and for the rest of the teachers and said, "Hey, like, we're all trying here. We're trying to get along with you. We're trying to do this, and you don't see the good that we're doing. And if you can't see that, then maybe it's time for me to leave, because we've done all of the things that you've asked us to. We've taken your demands, your abuse. We've taken all of this stuff, and you don't get it now. The kids are doing better. The teachers are doing better, but you're still treating us like we ain't shit." And so that was such a to me, that was such a changing moment in the film, because it was like, okay, you've literally done what you said you were going to do. I'm going to need you to finally take in what it is that you've done and kind of reel back and see how we have all stepped up to the plate and we all believe in the mission that you achieved. But now let's start appreciating us for that. And I was like,
okay.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Did y'all pick up on the little sexual tension between them?
Yes, absolutely.
What? No.
I did.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, first, don't sound like that.
I'm sorry. I did. I thought it was a little tug and war.
I was like, now, if this movie was maybe an hour longer, we were going to have a scene with them in the cheeks.
Wow.
And maybe it was just like how close they had to be. But I don't know. Maybe it was that. But I thought to me, it was very much I'm a strong woman, you a strong man. And like, I bowed down to you a little bit, but no. And maybe that's where the tension came in. But she also was real cute. She was also real cute. And so cute. She could give a little flirty eye every once in a while.
She had that little old thin waist. She was real cute, like 80s cute. And
80s cute.
No, people look different back in those days. I don't know how to explain that, and I don't know if that's crazy, but
no, it did.
People don't look the same no more.
No, they don't.
But okay, so yes, you're saying that now, but I'm like, I look at the kids today. The kids today don't look like them kids did in the 80s.
No.
They look so much more grown, and like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But I wish we could get
homeboy called Tomo trying to holler at the girl at the lunch table, and he was like, "Mr. Clark, she's a fox," and I was, "She is."
Oh, you talking about the girl? Leave that girl alone. When I saw that, I was like,
"I know what the problem is. This boy's blind." All this time, but we're thinking it's a problem with the standardized test.
Beautiful. Y'all know who acted their ass off in this movie, though? Who? While we talk about these women, Kaneesha Carter.
Kaneesha. Can we talk about Kaneesha?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I have a whole lot of stuff to say about Kaneesha.
She was on the Cosby Show, right?
Kaneesha was
been on every show.
I don't know.
She's always played Charmaine. She was Charmaine on the Cosby Show. She's Charmaine. Yeah, I love her.
Melina White.
Was
Ooh, she was in the Proud Family.
Yeah, she been on everything. She played on Dejanay.
I wonder if she's coming back for the reboot.
Oh my God! Now that you said that, she is Dejanay. I'm gonna cry.
I love her, but Kaneesha in this movie, she was such an angel, and to me, she was the priestess of this movie. Like, I don't know if y'all noticed in the beginning, but she carried a lot of the weight of that school. She was there when the girl was getting sexually assaulted in the bathroom to like grab and hold this girl. She was there watching it over when Sam's was buying drugs. She was there when Kid Ray was getting his ass mollywopped all over that cafeteria. She was there when Sam's got stuck in the locker. Like, she was always there, and yet she was still not negatively affected by that stuff. And I was like, she was so strong and so sweet, and just, she was my favorite. I loved Kaneesha.
Yeah, Kaneesha was really good. She was really, really good. Her acting skills, amazing. He don't believe in you because you don't take care of your responsibilities. I was like,
I was like,
okay, Kaneesha, right sentiment, wrong time. Okay,
whatever. So sometimes you just gotta get it off.
All right, Kaneesha,
look,
now
she said what she had to say, honey.
We here to get Joe Clark out of jail. Now we'll talk about that after
when
the
you see somebody talking like, oh, that's what you think you are now? No, I'm gonna let everybody know. You don't take care of your responsibilities.
But even like the scene, oh God, one of the most moving scenes in this movie for me was when they took her home, and when she was like, "Mom, she don't want me no more." I was like, "Oh my God, like why does she not want her anymore?" So when they took her to the
I was gonna say, let's talk about that scene.
Obviously, I've seen this movie a lot before, so I kind of got mixed up, and it was like, well, is this the moment that her mom found out she was pregnant? But it wasn't, and so I was glad to have watched that again, and it was really nice to see the principal, assistant principal care enough to go visit this woman's home and say, hey, what can we do to support you? Why does she think that you don't want her? And then to kind of just see like, hey, this has been a generational problem here at this school of like, I had her when I was 15, had no life. I tried to go out there and make one for myself. I fucked up and got into drugs, and I want to do what's best for my daughter. And I don't actually know what that is. So when they came to me and was like, here's this option, I feel like that's a better option because what life can I give her? And I just love that whole moment where they were like, sister, we're going to help you. The best place for your daughter is with you. And you just need some resources and something that will, be able to keep this family unit together. And it just shows that education goes way beyond the classroom. Like education goes with the parents, even not to get away from the scene, but he also, when they were saying, hey, we need to have Saturday school, he was like, bring the families. If they can't read, they can come up here and get tutoring too. It is not all about what goes on in these school walls. Education starts at home, and sometimes parents just need additional support and resources. And it was so lovely to see them give that to her.
Yeah.
What I liked about what he did and how he came in with that situation was that he was all about solutions. It wasn't just about talking about it, what we gonna do. Well, I don't know what we can do. He was like, well, what can we do with this situation right now to get Kaneesha to stay in the home? We want to keep her here. If she's out of the home, we don't think she'll do well, which was true. He's like, you are the best person to provide what she needs. What can we do to help you to get you on your feet so that you will feel that you can take care of her? Because every time people always want to talk, they want to sit around and just yang. But then when it's time for a solution, nobody has a solution. He was all about solutions. What are we going to do about these low test scores? I got a solution for that. What are we going to do about this low graduation rate? I'm going to do something about that. What are we going to do about this riffraff in the school with the drugs and the fighting and everything else? I'm going to do something about that. And that's a lot of stuff that I believe is missing even today. People want to do more talking than they want to have solutions for and put those solutions into action.
Right.
I have to agree.
Totally agree. And because he could have very easily gone in there and wagging his finger like, Kaneesha needs to be home with you. You need to do this and this and that and the third, and then leave. Because I don't work in the school system, but I mean, I know from what I hear, lots of times directives are sent home, or or if there's an issue, there's directives, that these parents have to do, but you're not giving them the solutions to solve these problems. You're just telling them what to do. But I do think that the film did a beautiful job of having us follow Kaneesha throughout the film and having her be like the model typical child that just needed extra care, extra attention, wanted to learn, but was put in situations where learning was hard. And there was, a beautiful exchange and with her mom talking about getting clean and, just Joe Clark and Vice Principal Levias just showing her compassion and listening to her, which she might not have ever gotten. Listening to her side of things and not, being judgmental, I think made a big impact on the dynamic of, the mother-daughter relationship.
Absolutely.
And I feel like, because when I watched this movie before, I'm like, why did foster care come to her at 15? And I was like, yeah, that was a little weird. And I was like, okay, maybe because the mom got high and got into some trouble or something. Maybe. And then was trying to get clean, but was somehow put into the system and so they did a welfare check or wellness check. And I feel like, and I understand that these systems have to be in place, but it's like so discouraging when you are trying to get on track and there's the threat of your child going into the system. And Kaneesha's mom, I guess she just felt like that was best. Then I feel like it just discourages people from trying to get help.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I feel, to me, I'm like, if they would have taken that baby away, she would have probably felt, even though she probably thought she was doing the right thing, she probably would have felt more of a failure and probably would have relapsed. And that's the unfortunate thing about the system sometimes. It's like, I feel like the systems don't work together enough, if that makes sense. Like, okay, you're going to do this. We're going to do this welfare check because, she got in some trouble with some drugs or whatever. And like, okay, we're going to take this child away and get her into foster care. But like, why is there not also a program that's like, okay, we're going to go and get you some rehab or get you some help, or we're going to send a counselor here and, we'll supervise visits and we'll do this and we'll do that so that we can get you back on track to watch your kid, because the goal of foster care is reunification. And unfortunately, that does not happen a lot. Some kids just get lost in the system because the parents don't have the resources that they need to get out of whatever situation they were. And unfortunately, it affects Black families way more than it affects anyone else because they weaponize poverty. They weaponize, drug addictions and things like that, but then they just don't try to help. It's just like, it is what it is. So,
yeah.
Well,
I want to go back to this. One of the most popular scene in this movie is Sam's going up on the roof.
Sam's on the roof.
Oh, yeah. Sam's on the roof. Ooh, that's what the movie should have been called. Sam's on the roof.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I have a very, very serious question for you guys, and I really want you guys to put on your thinking caps because it's very serious. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
What the hell was Joe Clark gonna do if Sam's would have jumped?
Go to jail.
No, he wouldn't. He would have went back downstairs, got that school straight, and
He's like, I don't know what happened up there.
You would have called that janitor. He told to get the graffiti off the wall. He'd be like,
it's a mess out there on the sidewalk.
Oh God.
Yes. Child,
y'all,
the first time.
No, out of here.
I never thought about that, but then I was watching this time because he told him to jump like 3 times. He would go on, jump. Shit. Now Sam's already balled up crying. You know, okay, and leave.
Right. You smoke crack, don't you?
He's like, oh hell, he'd be looking at Sam.
Well, go ahead and jump then.
I'm hoping he would have grabbed him before he fell. I don't know.
Expeditiously. I said, goodness gracious, Joe.
he pushed him like 3 times. He's like, fine, this is. So
Absolutely.
Okay. Now what the hell was Joe Clark would have done? Sam jump.
Is because
he would have ended his career right then.
Walk back downstairs.
Oh shit!
And then I would have walked to the front door.
Now,
oh my God!
Now he could have gotten away with it.
Where's my dean of security?
Now he probably could have got away with it, to be honest, because
he could have got away with it.
Y'all know Sam smoke crack. Of course he jumped.
I think though that if he would have jumped, the state would have been like, "Yeah, fuck all that test stuff. No, we finna take this school expeditiously."
Oh Lord,
yeah,
that damn scene.
No.
I was like, nah, Sam's would have jumped off that roof.
You're killing your brain cells, son.
You're right.
I don't want to kill myself, sir. I don't want to kill myself, sir.
Yeah, you do.
Like, yeah, he was real. It was real peer pressure now.
Yeah, it was real. Yeah, he was
like, go ahead and jump. So
that scene was actually really good. But I'm so proud of him for being like, you know what? I believe in you, son. Come back to the school. And then and then we kind of see Sam still kind of be that goofy little kid, but then he's getting so much better. He's still hanging out with those older guys, but they're not as bad as they were. And y'all, that scene, one of the scenes that I love the most was when they're in that bathroom. He's like, y'all sing this song here. And they're like,
now we got to sing this song.
Sam was funny singing with them because it was like, he was nodding his head like Wanye, and like he bringing up the 5-part harmony. I was, boy, you ain't even singing, boy.
Oh man, he did look like a little chubby Wanye.
Yeah.
And then I love this scene where they're in the gym and they're doing the double dutch. And
come on, Sam.
Yes. And Sam's did it. Y'all seen Sam's go all the way, and Joe Clark jumped out, and Sam's hit that floor like, oh God, but I did it.
Never connected with the character more because how did
But it was just so cute to see him like still be his little mischievous self, but like you could see that he took a turn for the better. And by the end of the movie, well, not by the end of the movie, kind of like getting towards the end of the movie where, you know, Joe Clark has said, hey, y'all niggas need to learn this song and you gonna be suspended if you don't know it.
10 days. I said, woof.
10 days.
Well, song?
Do you know I'd have walked home to my mama and like, Mama, I got suspended for not knowing the damn school song. My mama would have been like, bitch, if you don't go sit your ass down, excuse me, I'm going back up to that school. Like, nah, y'all can't keep, she got to go back to school because what? I don't know how that flew by.
And speaking of mamas, we got to talk about the lady whose name I can't remember. This movie made her the full out villain. I mean, like
he was. Oh my God, I was
King Bowser, a superhero villain. Like it was like, God, absolutely. And then it made her so much of a villain to where I've seen her in other shit, and I be, look at this bitch.
Literally, but I feel like I've seen her in other stuff where she just is.
I can't remember other stuff she's been in, but I know I've seen her in like other TV shows and stuff where she's done like small parts. And every time she come on the screen, I'm like, you again? Nah. But
no. When he called her that loud mouth wench, I was like, ooh, that's funny.
Figure out who was her child. And I was wondering if it was the boy that was selling all them damn drugs in that school.
And I
that
was like,
came back with the knife who was beating up Kid Red. Was that her
yeah.
Yeah.
So we need to talk about Kid Ray too. But I'm
Kid
like,
Ray looked like he was 25.
Kid Ray, Elder Barge in there, and then but I feel like, you know, like I said earlier, the movie did do a good job, like, because we had like thousands of kids, but they chose like these couple of kids where we could kind of follow their story. Kaneesha was one, Kid Ray was another, and we saw him like enter into that life. Because in the beginning, remember when the bald guy, the one who came back to fight in the school, he was buying drugs in the beginning with some dude in a leisure suit.
Hey, that's the only way to sell drugs in there.
Yeah, I mean briefcases. But yeah, so he bought, and then Kid Ray came up like, "What you doing, guys?" And then the bald dude like pushed me like, "Get out of here! You got nothing to do with this." And then you saw them kind of interacting more, and it was like he started dressing up and wearing suits, and you could tell he was entering the life. And then we saw how like the trajectory of like him being curious about this, and then completely entering it, and then going down that pipeline to where like you'll be dead in a year.
You'll be dead in a year.
That was so sad. I wanted more for Kid Ray.
I did too, but he was sickening.
Yeah, he was. But I think that just goes to show how much Joe Clark, he knew every kid at that school.
Wasn't that impressive?
Every kid at that school. Most people don't even know people anywhere. You'd be like, you can see people every day and not know them. But he knew every kid. He knew what they wanted. He knew what they needed. He'd be like,
like every scene, he was like, "Hey, Brenda. Hey, Natalie. Hey, such and such. Hey, Kaneesha."
Yeah,
because I don't think it was just a job to him. It was something. It was like he was something that I don't even know how to.
It was a ministry.
Well, he knew that his role was more than just principal to these kids. He knew that a lot of these kids did not have a father. They did not really have a role model. You know, some of their mothers were not in good situations either. You know, they had teachers that were essentially failing them. Unfortunately, I'm sure they were working as hard as they could, but they were still, these kids were being failed. They had been failed by the system. They had been failed by their school, by the teachers, by their communities, by the parents. And he knew that his role was going to be more than just the title of principal. So,
education, like I've said it several times on this podcast, it's just so far beyond just the school building. It really is. It takes a whole lot more to create successful children. Just so much more. If you only focus on school, you're not going to win them. So it was really, it was like a ministry to him. When, remember, he was at the school board meeting and she was like, "This ain't church," and he's like, "Yes, it is." It is like a ministry.
And I was screaming when one of them parents was like, "One bad apple spoils the bunch, and these kids will rotten to the core." And this dad was like, "My son ain't no bad apple."
He was.
Actually, he might be the worst. He might have started the apple. So there was another part of this movie that so Barrett and the mayor and the fire chief was such a weird ass.
Yeah, he was. That fire chief was trash and racist. I was like,
that was such a weird triangle of like trying to get Joe out of there, because like she was upset about her son being kicked out of school, but I was like, my thing is, how can you see the progress of something and still be like, "Nah, fuck that nigga"? Like,
pretty much that's exactly what she said.
He slighted her. He kicked her. And you know, not to take up for her, but he did kick her son out of school.
And she should, a reasonable person would be like, "Well, you know what? The school is doing great without my son in it. Like, maybe he was on to something."
If I was the mother of a bad child, I wouldn't be like, the school is doing better without your little ass there. So like from our eyes looking out, it's like, well, there's another bad apple. But I'm sure now she got this child that's definitely gonna go to prison now, probably. And
now she's got to figure out what to do with this kid that is not in school.
And she should have been figuring it out for the last 5 years. That might be harsh, but my thing is, if your kid has been in school for the past 5 years, not doing anything productive, and now you're upset that I kick your child out, and now you want to be up in arms, I'm gonna feel like your anger is displaced. I'm gonna feel
You're right.
like
And
you should have had a little bit more
of that gusto
and maybe
before.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I feel like sometimes things, I felt like that was a good example of sometimes things happen. Like I can't control this situation. So I'm going to grab hold of this situation that I can try and control.
We're going to get him out of there. You're out of here, Joe Clark. You didn't do what you said you... Like, bro, it was the practice test. Give him a chance.
Right.
He had to see what he was working with.
Yeah, that was like
that. Like the practice test was before the real work even began. Like
exactly,
a practice test is always going to be like, where do we stand at this very moment? And so I don't know why anyone
stand at all. Because them scores was fucked up.
Hell yeah. 33%.
But
like
do you
nobody.
think they took it seriously?
Yeah, and to be fair, those chains on the doors was dangerous, but them drug dealers getting in was pretty dangerous as well. I don't know. It was like he was in a no-win situation because he was right. Like if I would have doors that had buzzers on it, like the white schools have, then we wouldn't have this problem. So it's your lack of funding for this school. And what else can I do to keep these kids safe? You entrusted me with a job to turn the school around, to keep these kids safe, and I'm doing all that I have the resources for to do. Like, what do you want from me? Situation. And it's like these kids were just so vulnerable to all of these dangers. Like people were really trying to permeate their school. And like, so the bald-headed guy that got kicked out of the school, you can see like when he got kicked out of the school, like his disappointment. And it wasn't because he was getting kicked out of school.
My clientele.
It was like, hey, I work here.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That nigga said, how I'm supposed to get these drugs pushed now?
Exactly. That was like his main source of clients. And it just got stripped away. And like these kids were just so vulnerable to these things. And it's just, let's talk about standardized testing, because this is a hill I will die on.
Whoa.
Standardized testing is not fair.
It's not.
It is so unfair. Like, did y'all remember the scene? Do y'all remember the scene where the girl was taking the test and he was standing over her, and the question was like, such and such woke up and ate a breakfast before taking a test. The breakfast was orange juice, toast, and sausage or something like that. And the choices were, is this a usual breakfast or is it like what wording? And one of the choices was strange. And she circled strange. That is strange. Underprivileged kids don't have breakfast like that in the mornings prepared like that. And because like there's other questions like, what goes with a teacup? And the choices like saucer, spoon. And a lot of kids, like black kids, were choosing spoon, but the correct response was saucer. And what underprivileged child in the inner city use a teacup and a saucer?
Exactly.
Yeah. Standardized tests are trash. Period. Point blankety blank. I think our whole education system as a whole, is trash.
Yeah.
We could fix all of this at some point, but they just don't want to.
Exactly. I was about to say, they don't want to. They don't want to make the educational system better. And the thing is, if you invest in the children instead of investing in all these old people and all these corporations, they will build up something that'll be sustainable for the future, because they're going to have to live in the future. These people, these politicians, they're not going to be here much longer. And you cutting funding to education, not letting kids go to college for a reasonable price, if a price at all, because I believe vocational schools and stuff like that should be free, period. If you don't want to go to college and you want to learn a skill, even if you're an adult, if you want to better your life and learn a skill, you need to be able to do that unimpeded by barriers due to cost, because you're going to help the next generation if you put this educational system how it should be. Because how it is right now, it's so far behind, and people like, we don't have enough engineers, we don't have enough this, we don't have enough. You'll never get that because of the way the educational system is now. We'll always be behind other countries when it comes to education, because we don't do what we need to do, because we don't put the funding where it needs to be put.
Right. And producing like skilled workers, these systems are designed to keep Blacks and Browns as second class citizens. And so, I mean, it serves what it's supposed to serve, I guess. But
the thing is, you're not just hurting Black and Brown, you're hurting everyone all around, because if I never get up, I'm gonna pull somebody down. I'll pull another person down. As many people as I can pull down to my level, that means they won't be able to do anything going forward in the future.
Yeah.
Because I stopped them. I was able to do that. I was able to stop them from getting where they needed to go. This pipeline to prison, they need to cut that out. These for-profit prisons, they need to cut out, period.
Hot take. I'm on board.
I know you are, because you worked at a for-profit prison, and that stuff is...
Yeah, I've seen the inner workings of that, and so,
yeah.
Yes. Let's see, is there anything we didn't cover?
Like, when I heard him sing that note, I was like, oh God, the children
That's probably
have arrived.
the only school song I know.
Threw me for a loop.
Yeah. Terrell, do you know your alma mater?
No, not at all.
Let's hear it.
I don't know it.
I don't know it either, honey. Somebody could come in here singing it. Now I'll be, what the hell are you singing?
I kind of know Georgia Southern a little bit. Georgia Southern is... Okay, hold on. If I could get the first word, I could probably sing that alma mater for Georgia Southern for you.
Oh, wow.
I'm so glad you don't know it. I mean, carry on.
Anywho, when they sang that song, now what threw me for a loop was why did he have to kind of go in there like, you taught these boys this song? Who told you to do that? I didn't do. And then he was like, congratulations. I'm like, why did you have to traumatize that woman like that? Like,
that woman, she looked like she could cry.
Hell yeah, she did.
He did it to everyone. Even when that kid was making fun of him. Like, what you doing over there?
He didn't have to do that. And but like, I get, like, that's who he was, but like, damn, I'd have been like, you know what, I'm just gonna pack my bags. Actually, you know what, that's not even the most important part of this movie too, but like, it is a very important part of the music, because it could have been called Lean on Me, the musical, at that point, because them kids was singing their ass off. But when they all showed up to the prison for him.
Well, before we get in that, can I ask this question? Like, hold that thought. Do alma maters, like, school songs, have to be written all the same way? Because I'd be wondering if new schools have them cheesy ass songs like that too. Like, every school is all written in the same vein, like, la la for the red, white, and blue, and hail to the G, and hauled in the streets, and such and such.
I feel like, yes, I feel like that's what makes it an alma mater. Like, I really do.
Like, hail for East Side. Like, can there be a school song, an R&B school song?
No.
Body roll. Like, I'm just curious. I need to know that.
I think that alma maters are supposed to be like oldish, upbeat type of. I don't think an R&B alma mater would not. I don't know.
I'm curious about alma maters as a whole, because I mean, the Georgia Southern one is cheese-tastic.
Y'all ready?
From
humble farm beginnings, sprung up from sandy earth, among the towering pine trees is a treasure of great worth. Her price cannot be measured in silver or in gold, but in the love and loyalty that many hearts enfold. Georgia Southern University, and it's more to it, but like that makes an alma mater.
I'm about to remove you from this call.
Like, do you not feel good, even though Georgia Southern it's in a racist town with racist people, and it's racist. It's still the alma mater. Still makes you feel like, oh, the Southern is the best school in the world, and I feel like that's what alma maters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's so cheesy and so white bread. Like, it's just
it's like somebody was like, only way we can get this school built is if you let this white man write this song for us.
That's funny.
Like, I just be, it's real like the Star Spangled Banner of schools, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, they all sound the same. They all got that
like maybe a school that's just built like they might have a rap like I don't know how to do that. I feel
you went to Bradwell, didn't you?
Yeah, what's Bradwell cheesy ass song?
Wait, you did too, Terrell?
If you look it up and sing it, I'm going to bed.
Oh my God, look at us, generations of children. Okay, because I didn't graduate from Bradwell.
I almost didn't go to damn Bradwell. I saw a lead on me. I was like, fuck high school. I'm not going there.
You know, I did not. Bradwell's alma mater is Bradwell. We will always, I don't know how it goes, but I'm sure it goes in the same way.
All right,
Bradwell, we will always love thee.
Bradwell, we will always love thee.
Always true will be.
Always
and
true
there
will be.
And there'll never be another.
And there'll never be another Bradwell.
Like B.I. to me.
Like B.I. to me.
Alma mater, thee we honor.
What is going on?
You are dear and old.
You are dear and old, just like this song.
And your name will ever cherish. I don't know. I don't remember ever hearing the alma mater. Is that funny? The only thing, I was in chorus when I went.
But I don't remember none of that shit.
It was a song. It's a song. Yeah.
Okay, I think maybe it's healthy to move on. And let's move into any scene left we haven't covered?
Them going and getting the test scores.
Yeah, did we ever find out what the exact score was?
That it was passing.
Pretty much.
Like, we passed. Yeah. That is all in the movie.
Now take y'all asses home.
But I was concerned for those students when the police
they looked like they was finna get fucked up by them.
What?
Props. Like, they hopped out the little paddy wagon.
I was like, that lady was like, she had to move through that line. She was, got the test results. I got to get up and through here. I was like, yeah.
Y'all, that was so wild to me. Now, this woman hears these children talking about how much they love Joe Clark, and you still like trying to pit them against him. Like that was just so weird to me.
Yeah, she was trying so hard.
The uphill battle. It was like, lady.
Like, bro, you got a whole school outside. Like, yo, we here for Mr. Clark. We're gonna get you a new principal. No,
I'm trying to tell you what's best for you. I was like, lady,
you know what she was in, right? She was the host of Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah,
she was the chief.
I did not watch that show, but I played the game.
Yeah, it was. But that show was fire.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, cats, what's best for y'all.
Like, no, I think the kids know what's best for them, especially when because he instilled so much into them to make them just stronger and more confident, and they knew what they wanted. They knew they could do it. That pep talk he gave them in the auditorium, they was hype. They went and knocked that test out
they did, bruh. And their lean on me. I was like, now, them kids, they was rocking their heads and
they believed in that. Okay,
it was headbangers ball up in there. They was going in. And the little brown kids, they was and they need a friend. And I was okay. Everybody know this song.
I loved how all the kids just wanted to feel loved and supported as well, because like even the Hispanic kids was like, yeah, we see what you're doing for them, but we also want to be a part of this school too. And when he told her, you should have been a lawyer, I was like, debate club. Okay, listen, everyone. And even how he instilled in, she was like, why do I have to take a home ec? I've been cooking for kids for 11 years. I want to take mechanics. I want to take auto shop. And he was like, you know what? Why not? Like, I loved how we just kind of moved in off of these progressives and was just like, yeah, no, these kids know what they want. And we are not listening. We just need to support them in what it is that they want to do. And I loved that about Mr. Joe Clark.
Yeah, the way that he gave them such individualized care while still, being in charge of this large group was very impressive. Just the simple task of knowing their names and knowing their individual needs and responding appropriately to their individual needs. Like he really listened to them to the fact where it drove him kind of crazy. Just the way he was able to show them care and compassion just by like simply listening to them. And these kids 9 times out of 10 came from families that were used to being overlooked and not listened to and like pushed to the margins of society. And it was just one person that came in and just really showed them attention and made them feel supported and loved. And he injected so much pride into that school.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody has pride in their high school. I mean, it's me and Terrell, we Bradwell, but like there was no pride there when he got there. Like
no, it was a place for them that they had to go, and that was all.
Yeah, and by the end of it, they were singing songs and jump roping and singing and chanting East Side High. Yeah, it was a beautiful transition to watch.
It really was, guys. It really, really was.
And do we know if he had to go back into his cell or did they let him go?
I don't know. And I hope they let him go because
I think I think they'd already bailed him out. I think he was just there like, whatever.
Okay.
Y'all do what y'all got to do.
Because I was trying to figure out if the conditions were, if you calm this crowd down, we'll let you go.
First of all, that mayor was no good.
He was so trash and so scary. Like, dude, he really was.
But one more thing I wanted to talk about. The argument that Dr. Napier and Joe Clark had when he was telling him to undo all that stuff. And how like at the end, even though they were arguing, they were still really good friends. It was like, now come on, let's go get something to eat.
I love that. Yeah, I love
it.
I just show how you can have those kind of interactions with people, like still get your point across, but then there's no love lost, and we can still fellowship and be friends. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful, and I also love to see Black men doing this. And we're not everything is a fight. It's just it's business. But at the end of the day, you're still my brother, and I love you.
It was beautiful. I love seeing stuff like that as well. It really is just very like, hey, I love that they were able to be like, no, okay, now you know who really in charge, and just see them literally to just see them be like, yep, let's go get something to eat now. And that to me, I struggle. First of all, people talking to me crazy, like I struggle, like you are dead to me. So to see that other people can just kind of be like, yeah, I just had to put you in your place a little bit, but I still love you, boo. I thought that was very nice. And it also showed that even though Joe Clark was this big personality, he still understood that he needed other people. Like he still needed others to kind of, show him that, hey, I hear what you're trying to do, but I still need you to think about the other people that are going to be affected along the way. And I also need you to remind yourself that, baby, you is not, there's always someone else, regardless. Yeah. And I want you to win, but I'm not gonna let you disrespect me.
I thought it was, and this whole movie was us watching. Well, it was us learning that an old dog can learn new tricks because. So like from the beginning of this movie, he, was slighted by the school board and he had been carrying around a 20-year-old chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And they remembered him because of how bad he showed out. And he remembered them because of how they slighted him back then. And it was like, it was cool to watch, this is old man who's coming back to the center, to the beginning of where it happened and learning and growing. So his students were growing, so was he.
He had to be such a better person. Like everyone came out of this situation a better person, probably except for those kids he kicked out. But that ain't but yeah, I really would love to see like some type of follow-up, some type of documentary on like the more of the true story of what happened and like where are those kids now. I would love to see something like that come into fruition just because I think that he got them somewhere that no one else had been able to get them. And I really, really, I have faith in my heart that his efforts did not go in vain. And all 27,000 of those kids, 2,700, my bad, not 27.
That nigga changed the world.
Turn that school into a university.
I just really hope that they took that experience and they were able to learn from that and take that into their day-to-day lives as they became adults and were just able to thrive. They did that together. It wasn't just Joe. It wasn't just the teachers. It was also the students. And so I hope that they were able to take that moment and just be all the best that they can be. I really do.
Yeah,
I really hope Kaneesha's baby is great and Kaneesha is okay.
Y'all, y'all think that Kaneesha had the baby or she had an abortion? He was like, well, you have options and we're gonna meet with your mom and we're gonna decide, we're gonna put our heads together and figure out what the best option is for you. So what y'all think? Did Kaneesha have her baby?
I feel like I vaguely remember before her saying I'm gonna have this baby, like, but I don't remember seeing it this time, so maybe she didn't. That's a good question.
She just cried and just said she was scared.
That's a good question because it could have gone two ways. It could have gone, hey, your life is at a critical turning point, let's not do this. Or it could have been like, I'm still going to do this because I am able to see that I can do anything. So it could have gone either way. Yeah. It could have gone either way. I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. Kaneesha was so bright and not that teenage pregnancy would ruin her life, but she was just really, really bright. And I love Kaneesha. She was my favorite.
I would have to agree.
So yeah, I think is that it, Terrell? This is your pick.
Oh, anything else? Yeah. That's it. That's it. I think we definitely covered a lot and then some.
Yes, that's and we've rewritten Bradwell's alma mater, and so
no, let's not.
You have me to thank for that. And
yes.
Well, since we're past the final thoughts, what was your best, worst, and weirdest? Let's go with Kayla.
So my best of this movie is, like I said, I am an education and for the change type of girl. So it was really best for me to see this man go into this school and give them a whole 180 and put them on a path to great success. I like that was the best, just to see the outcome and know that all of what he did was worth it. Phenomenal. The worst was, dang, that lady was really out to get that man. And I hate that she couldn't see that although that this decision affected her son, it ended up being the best thing for East Side. And I really hope that after she saw those turned around test results, that she had a change in her heart and like really focused on getting her son or daughter the help that they needed to also be as successful, maybe get her back into school. I really hope she did. But that was the worst, because I was like, damn, you're really working against all these kids because of your hatred for this man. Weirdest, I think the weirdest, but which probably shouldn't be that weird, it kind of is probably exactly what happens behind the scenes, was the damn mayor and the police chief, not police chief, and the fire chief, and that random ass lady concocting this way to get him thrown in jail after, and so that he could re-win a election. And like, to add on to that weird part, the dude who was in the bathroom while he was talking about that, why the hell did he know to put his fucking feet up like that? Because I was like, what? What is happening? So that was my weirdest. All in all, I absolutely love this movie. Double thumbs up.
I would say that the best part of this whole experience was just rewatching it as an older person and just like picking up on different things. I can't say it enough. I enjoyed Kaneesha's character a lot. That she was the best to me. Just watching her development and like with the role and just all of the things that she went through and how she was positioned in different times in the film, like always being there when something was going on, and just the interactions between her and her mom, her and Joe Clark, her and fellow students. Like, she did not have to do all of the things that she did. Like, it was almost like she was like the guardian angel of that school, the way she was at every time like something was going wrong. So that would be the best. The worst was just watching that mom who just would not stop. And it's like, okay, I understand that you feel slighted that your son was kicked out of school, or your daughter, because we still don't know what battle are you fighting? Like, step back and think, like, what are you doing? You want to put a man in jail just because he slighted your kid? Just try and get your kid back in school if that's the problem.
Yeah.
Like,
use that same energy to get your kid back in school.
Yeah, they was like, dude, you showing up at every meeting, like, but was you at every PTO meeting? Like,
okay,
what are you doing? So that was just the worst. Like that, and I sometimes I struggle with movies that have villains that just won't quit. Because maybe I'm just not a persistent person, but which is why I could never be a salesperson. Because like, if you say no, I'm like, all right then, well,
peace.
Y'all have a nice night. Well, like, she was like so persistent with like showing up at every scene, like, fold again. Like, okay, lady. She was like this weird super villain in the movie. And I guess maybe that is my weirdest, but I'm gonna take Kayla's weird as my weirdest. Like, any movie I watch, not just this one, like when I get to see the seedy underbelly of politics, it's always weird to me. And like the way that the mayor and the fire chief were working together to like tear down this black man was just like, that's uncomfortable to watch. And working with this woman who obviously had like this serious personal vendetta, it's like, okay, this is really some sketchy shit. And that mayor was like, oh my God, is this who is leading this city? Because he was so scary. He was worried about them damn votes. I was like, oh my God. And it just did not make any sense why he was so afraid of her. Because she was like, I've got plenty of people that we can vote his black ass out. And it's like, okay, so you obviously had about probably 300 like other parents for the 300 students. That's it. But you got 2,700 other kids who I'm sure their parents are thrilled that their kids are motivated and focused and doing better. So what the hell are you scared of? Like, that was very weird. That was a very weird interaction. Like, and I get that, your constituents are important to helping you get reelected, but it was like, your priorities are a little sketch. and they're not making any sense. Okay, I would really support this school that's doing well, that is well on their way to passing this test, which, oops, they did pass the test. So let it go. Send this lady home.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my best, worst, weirdest. Terrell?
Best, I believe overall, this was, like I said, this is one of my favorite movies. So everything was just on point. I like how they showed him turning that school around. Even though his tactics weren't the best, it showed how much he cared for the kids. It also showed the kids how to act, because even when he was getting arrested, he was like, you break the law, this is what happens. I mean, he was real matter of fact about everything. It wasn't anything where he tried to show them up or be like, well, see, I'm a great person and this is why I'm great and this and that. He's like, no, this is what we need to do. We're all in this together. He was like, even with the white kids, he was like, y'all weren't able to get out of this. So y'all here with us too. So we gonna get this turned around. And
wasn't that funny? I made him stand up like, yes, really funny. I'm white. I'm here.
It's just trying to, do the best he could with the little bit of time he had, because they gave him less than a year to get that school turned around.
And that's wild.
Most people would have failed that task.
Hell yeah.
Because that
most people wouldn't have even taken it on. Because I'm telling you.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
That school looked like, even empty, it looked scary.
It did. It looked like a scene from a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
It was very wild.
The worst, I'm gonna have to agree. The mother, she was OD. She was doing way too much and not in the right way. Everything she did was just to be spiteful. It's like, and every time I kept thinking, I was like, sometimes it be your own people.
That was, she kept popping up like Voldemort, like every scene. Like, okay,
yeah. I'm gonna need you to comment on down, sweetheart,
and then take it on home where you should be with your kid.
Exactly,
because he's not in school.
And the weirdest part for me was probably the same thing you all said, just the whole politics of the whole thing. Just when you see how these shady handshake deals are done, and you're like, is this what's in best interest for the kids, or is this what's best for you so you can get reelected, so you can keep doing nothing? Because that's what you did. That's how it got to be as bad as it got. You did nothing. And then when it was time to do something, then you were all of a sudden, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. Like, where were you the 20 years when it was going down? That was the weirdest part to me.
That part.
Let's see.
Wild.
So what are we binging this week?
I think Bel Air comes out, or
yes,
did it
out.
just come out?
It just came out. I looked it up this morning. It's out.
What is it on?
Peacock.
Okay. Well, me and my honey might watch it tonight.
3 episodes out right now.
Okay, so they're doing like episodes a few at a time, release them a few at a time.
I think they put out 3 and then they're going to release them weekly until they finish up the season.
Gotcha. Cool.
I'm interested to see it. I'm not always a huge fan of like remakes and redos and but I will attempt to support. So,
well, I can't say I'm not the biggest fan of reboots. I look at them because I'm curious, but I think that this is an interesting way to do it, like to do the reboot, but to flip the genre and make it a drama now. Because if you think back, that sitcom did explore some pretty deep themes. So I think it'll be cool to see those themes like more deeply explored, and just to see how they're going to do it. And the cast is beautiful. Oh my God. Did y'all see their video on Instagram? Like, everybody just beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Beautiful Black people. So yeah, I actually have not been watching TV this week, so I'm not binging anything. I've been reading. So
look at her with a book in her hand.
Yes, electronic book.
Hey, a book is a book.
Well, speaking of books, how's your reading plan going?
It's good. It's going really good.
Okay, you've been reading with my
baby. lets me read because the baby is like, but no one's paying me any attention.
Yeah, holding that book.
So-
You be holding me.
Oh, I love that for him.
That's so sweet.
But yeah, reading is going very well.
Good. That's good. Okay. Well, I guess that's our show. Well. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. For bonus content and to learn more about the show, you can head over to www.sipsandscripts.com and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Sips and Scripts Podcast. If you've got a suggestion for a film that you'd like us to talk about, want to add to the conversation, or just say hello, leave us a voice message on Instagram at Sips and Scripts Podcast, and we'll play it on the show. Thanks again, and see you next time.
I got the votes. Throw this black ass out of here.
We're trying to do what's best for you. You can't lean on me. Get those chains out the door. Lean on me. I'm saying, you smoke crack, don't you?
What are you doing? What is this, your own personal trailer?
Yeah,
Love
my
it,
address.
Beautiful.
Now that should have been the trailer.
Okay, period.
No, everything's for the blacks, Mr. Clark. I ain't got no but stay black and die.
I love you.
Now they call me Batman. Yeah, man.
I dislike you so much.
Fine. Y'all don't like my trailer idea? Fine.
This has gone completely off the rails.
You can't lean on.
Y'all-
Get those chains off.